Alright folks, welcome back to the Don's channel. I am the Don Father and I'm about to do a reaction for Stephanie Contreras, who's been a friend of both channels now for a long time. And the reason why I'm doing quite a quick reaction for Stephanie is because I actually did the wrong video for her the last time. Accidentally downloaded the wrong one. I don't know what I was thinking, but anyway, it was a good video all the same. It is kind of similar to what's going to be happening here. This one is Marine Corps Body Bearers, The Last to Let You Down. I think you can tell by the title what the video is going to involve. Again, a very, very important job. A lot of my friends were body bearers. They were carrying the caskets or coffins or whatever you would call them in the States off the planes after they flew back home from the Middle East. That was their job. Of course, you'd have your flag draped in the, or your caskets draped in the Star Spangled Banner. In this case, it was the Union flag because they were British soldiers that had passed. So I never had the opportunity to do that. But usually it's done by people who know the person who has been killed in action, so it makes it a lot more personal. It's always more meaningful. It's really hard for the guys to do it, but it's also an honour. So look, this is Marine Corps Body Bearers, The Last to Let You Down. The link to the original video, as always, will be in the description section below if you want to check it out. And if you want to check out all of our other stuff like Patreon or our Veterans Battle Still Rages merch, which is a fundraiser that we're doing to raise money for veterans struggling with PTSD or other combat stress related issues like that. The proceeds from the merchandise is going to charities that are helping veterans struggling with these illnesses, conditions that I've just mentioned. So please, if you can afford it, check that out, buy some merch. As I said, it's all being donated, so that would be fantastic. Anyway then, no more talking. Let's go!
A lot of people don't really know what we do or don't really know what it entails. And when they find out, they're taken back a little bit. And it really never crossed their mind at times. It's a great job. I love it for many reasons, of it just being an honor and something that I'll remember for the rest of my life. I was actually deployed when I heard about the body bearers, and when I heard about the body bearers, what it all was about, I was like, immediately I wanted to be one. I remember telling everybody, telling my family, telling friends that I was going to become a body bearer, and when I got here, it took me about 7 months, and then that's how it all started.
I'm going to pause it there just before you see the drill and what it takes to obviously do the job. Not just the drill, not just the service itself. Of course, the last kind of parade service that these fallen troops will ever have. Not just doing all that as a Marine. Obviously, these guys are trained Marines, they're combat Marines, they know the job, but they've decided to go on to this line of it. And you're not just looking for any old person, you're looking for somebody who has the character, the empathy, the emotion to do a job like that. They need to be able to speak to the families. Of course, it's going to be a very difficult day for them, so there's a lot of things that goes into doing this job. Probably more so because of the emotional side to it, and of course these guys could be hurting themselves doing this. That the Marine that they're laying to rest might not necessarily be somebody they know, but what you've got to remember is these guys have served as well, and it could be quite an emotional time for them every time, because they could be remembering fallen brothers or sisters that they've had from conflicts, wars, previous. So anyway, that'll do, I'll put it back on.
It's our job to have flawless bearing and to perform our job at the max at 100% for them. And so we don't do it thinking about ourselves. It's all for the family and for that American hero, really. How we conduct our funerals in Arlington, it's different from every other branch. I've been told time and time again. And it's truly just an honor to be a part of it. Don't take it lightly to do our job. We want to do the best that we can for every funeral, because for a lot of people that's their one look on the Marine Corps that they get, and we want to leave them with that lasting impression. The majority of the funerals we do are older Marines died of natural causes, World War II vets, and then just dependents, loved ones from them. We still do get some active duty, and those are really, I don't want to say rough to do, but they are like, they make you think about what you're doing, and it brings it close to home. I think everybody handles it in their own way, but ultimately we're all here for each other and to help each other through anything.
So at this point, it's got me actually wondering whether or not, of course, it's a very, very difficult job and a very important job, and as he said, it might be one of the only times that the family actually get to see the Marines right in front of them, or people in the extended family get to see what the Marines look like, what they do and stuff like that. They're actually getting to see it with their own eyes, so they've got to be the best that they can be, and of course nothing else would be acceptable by their own standards anyway. But the one thing I was interested here was, I'm not too sure if some of these guys are coming straight out the depot, straight out the chocolate factory from training and into this role. I was actually thinking it would have been more of a senior person, kind of similar to like the Guard at Arlington, the Sentinels, where these guys are senior, well, not so much senior in terms of rank, but experienced at their day job, their normal job, and then they go into that role. So I'm thinking it's kind of something similar to that, but every so often you'll get someone who will just say, that is what I want to do, but of course it's vigorous training and important training that they will have to do. But in my opinion, it would be better from somebody who's done the job, knows what it feels like to actually put your life on the line in a conflict zone, and that compassion would almost come more naturally, possibly. Not compassion comes natural to everyone, but that understanding, rather, that understanding of what's happening, particularly for those who have served and died in conflict, in war, and they've come home. So just that little bit more experience of that sort of thing, and understanding, I think would be quite an important characteristic that I'd be looking for, rather than taking someone straight from training, maybe a wee bit wet behind the ears, still not really mature, no fault of their own. Age, you do mature with age, you do kind of get more emotional as you get older as well, have more empathy and sympathy, etc. And I think that's the sort of thing that would come more natural to somebody who's been a lot longer than somebody coming out of training.
We're working on them getting their strength up, their core, their bearing, their size, and their endurance up. What we're also working on is their technique on carrying and doing different various funerals that we do. Bearing is one of the most important things we have out here. Out in Arlington, we don't breathe through our mouths. It's all through the nose and out through the nose. Just to show no emotion and no pain, no physical strain whatsoever, because it's all about the family. And you don't want them to see anything other than a flawless funeral.
Absolutely.
Over the grate. Pick up the march time.
So this is where we do everything down the LP. We have all our different training tools that we use, from 45-pound plates to the black box. It's dark, dirty. It gets wet down here. It gets crazy hot and crazy cold. And it really, I think, is where we should be working. And it's been around forever. Every section is trained down here, and we're just carrying on the traditions. My strength started to slowly go down within those first 2 months of getting here because of the shock. And really what I mean by the shock is just the different type of training they do here. You're going to get tendonitis right away from curling every day. You know, the body's not used to doing 3 sets of 20 pull-ups, 3 sets of 20 curls every day. As time went on, I got stronger. I noticed changes in my strength. The tendonitis would go away after a few months, and the body adapts to its environment, and it either gets stronger and breaks through those walls, or it breaks down. So really you have to be a strong individual to get through it, and not just physically, but emotionally too.
Yes.
Mentally.
I want to stop it there just before I place in history. With the strength side of it as well, I was actually thinking of that. Obviously, if you've got one really muscly and big guy, upper body strength's more natural, just a big guy, big brute of a guy if you like. Military is very strict, kind of on looking uniformal, everybody looking the same, almost identical, not necessarily in height now, but the one thing, I've carried a few coffins before at funerals, done it several times, and if you're carrying beside somebody who is a lot taller than you, then it does put a lot more weight down onto your shoulder like that there, because you can't, it's leaning more down towards your way. So I would imagine they would try and keep people in and around the same heights, try and spread the weight of it out evenly, and of course you do need to be strong. They are heavy, it is no joke, and there could be some big people coming home and that you're laying to rest, so you need to be strong. But as he says, the most important thing in there is not physical strength, this is emotional strength. The emotional side of it is why I said I think you would rather be going with people of a more senior, more mature kind of level, if you know what I mean.
I always think about the section. I'm sure I want to come back, as a lot of guys do, just to see, hey, is it staying? Are the traditions still there? Are the guys still big? Or the guy, you know, is everything the same? And little things might change, but for the most part, the traditions stay alive. I know one day I'm going to look back on all this, and I'm going to be like, those were the good old days. And it's cool to know that like I'm in them right now, you know. Being deployed and knowing, like when we do active duty Marine funerals and stuff, and just knowing that they were over there serving their country selflessly, and paying that ultimate sacrifice. It's really an honor to do it for them, and I always want to do my best for them and their family. I think the most common question I'm asked is, being a body bearer, doesn't that drain you a lot? Isn't that hard on you? And for me, honestly, I love it. It's a hard job. It's not for everybody, but it's something I take a lot of pride in, and I know everybody else in the section does.
Wow, just a suggestion there for the one that I already covered, the Mortuary Marines, which was fantastic to see the effort, the love, care and attention that they guys put in as well to preparing the fallen soldier, or Marine, sorry, in this case, for send-off basically, for the family. So, wow, that video, it was brilliant, and again, a lot of it that you're hearing from the body bearers and the Mortuary Marines, similar roles, but it's the care and love that they have for their job. And as he said there, this job's not for everyone. Some people like the hoorah of, like, you know what I mean, being a Marine first and foremost, and they probably see that job as something, no, I would never want to do that. That is fine, that is totally fine. But that's why the selection process has to, you're identifying the character. I wouldn't even be looking at the size of the person. Of course that's got to come into it, the height and strength, etc. You can train people to that. I'd be looking for the character. Are you right for this role? Are you going to moan? Are you going to, you know, a negative sort of influence on the team? People don't need that. And let alone the families, they don't want to see that. The interesting detail that I got from that video was that only breathe in through their nose and out through their nose to avoid showing any emotion. And of course, so you're not looking like you're actually struggling. It should never really be about you. It's about the Marine that you're laying to rest, and they execute that perfectly. It's fantastic to see this stuff, because even when you serve, you don't really think of who's doing that job. It just gets done. It's like you just don't really think about it. You don't pay attention to it. It's just something that, you know, get done, and you don't question how does it get done though. And it's fantastic to see how it gets done, but ultimately what it means to the people that do it. I was interested to hear him talking about the sections over the years, the traditions staying the same. Well, you're not going to change anything. If it's not broken, don't fix it. There's nothing there that ever needs to change. It's a well-oiled machine, and to change it would possibly be not a good thing to do. So I love how they hold on to that. The proof of the pudding is in the tasting, and if the families are happy with the services that they get, the service that they get for their son or daughter on that day, and they're thankful for it, then why would you change that? And it's just the whole thing was very interesting, but quite emotional as well. It's quite sad, and I totally get what he was saying. It's a lot more difficult when you're being the body bearer for somebody who's lost their lives in action, fighting for their country, over somebody who's maybe died of old age, because that's the way we'd hope everyone would die, is of old age, so that you got the longevity, you got the luck of what is it? I can't remember the saying. Old age is a privilege not granted to everyone, or something like that there. So for any Marine who's passed later on in life, maybe they've served in war, whatever, before, but they went on, came home, had a life, and died of old age. Of course, there's other people as well we've got to think about in this one. People who struggle with PTSD, like I said at the top of the videos, those who are struggling with PTSD, combat stress related issues, and ultimately take their own lives because they can't live with the horrors of what they've had to endure and the horrors of what they're enduring after. And that is simply why I am doing fundraising for this. It's a topic very, very close to my heart. So do check out that merchandise, like I said. But last thing I'm going to say is thanks very much, Stephanie, for that request, and respect to you because you're a Marine wife and your husband, and of course your beautiful family that you have. I know what it's like for the families of serving soldiers, sailors, Marines in your case, who are away from home for a long time. It can be very, very difficult for you as well. So big shout out to the families for what they have to cope with when their partners are away. So don't forget, guys, the link to that original video will be in the description section below. I loved it. I love seeing that side of it. It's great to be able to share this stuff with people because it does put attention onto what people are doing behind the scenes to give fallen heroes the best send-off that they could possibly get, because in some cases they paid the ultimate sacrifice and gave their lives serving their country. So there you are. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share, and put the bell on so you don't miss any of our future uploads on the channel. That would be fantastic. And check out all of our other stuff in the description section below. But please, I urge you, do check out the Battle Still Rages merchandise in the description section below, where the money from that is being donated to charities helping with those conditions. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. I am the Dawn Father, and I'll see you all soon. Goodbye.